How's it going, everybody? Nerds Rising here, and welcome back to the Nerd Cave. In today's video, we are once again going to be playing Guess the ELO, and in this video, we're going to be doing so in the Open Ultra League. Now, if you guys haven't seen a Guess the ELO video before, basically what I have done is I have cropped out the ELO before each battle, and you guys are going to be trying to guess in the comment section what you think the ELO range is before we get to the end of the video. So, big thank you to Dr. Love for sending in the footage, and let's get right into the battles here and see what we've got going on as we pick up a Giratina Altered lead here in the first battle, and the opponent safe switches into a Shadow Steelix. The absolute bane of my existence. Shadow Steelix is just so broken, guys. Steelix in general is broken, not just the Shadow, but this thing is just so bulky, and the unfortunate thing here for Dr. Love is, despite the fact that he has a Water type into a Ground type, if the opponent wants to, they can just double shield, fully go for Breaking Swipes, and just farm him all the way down, and it looks like he's recognizing that and just going to take his shield advantage. So he is going to lose switch advantage, unfortunately, but he is going to take switch advantage now, or take shield advantage, excuse me, and hopefully shield advantage will help his Greedent sweep the back line. And sure enough, they do have a Talonflame in the back. Obviously, they kind of had to have an answer to Fairy with a Giratina Altered lead, but the nice thing is the Greedent can do pretty well against the Talonflame, and it can do pretty well against the Giratina Altered. So hopefully Greedent with his shield advantage here is going to be able to clutch out this game for Dr. Love. And the opponent actually baited as well with the Flame Charge. They switch out into the Giratina, and he does get the Crunch debuff as well, which is very, very nice. And now I think you probably just, as soon as your switch clock comes back up, you probably just try to get out of here as soon as you can. Yeah, I like the shield here. Preserve the Greedent. He still has to have that Greedent to take out the Talonflame, and actually going to commit to a very aggressive farm down here against the Giratina. And that is going to be very, very nice because he's going to have a lot of energy to throw against the Talonflame when it comes back in. And Moonblast isn't going to be enough to KO, but the opponent is going to actually have to Brave Bird him here to take him out. And then hopefully Greedent can make 2 body slams here. That's going to be the win count, I think. And no, the Clefable actually lives that on literally 1 HP. Oh my gosh. Absolutely clutch. Going to get the last shield here. Now Greedent just has to make 1 body slam, and that is going to be all she wrote. Excuse me, guys. And that is a GG in game 1. So, by the way, I'm just warning you now, my commentary is probably not going to be that great because I am currently going on to night shifts 3 of 3. So I've already worked 2 night shifts, and I've only been up for a short time here. And whenever I try to shout at my computer screen after just waking up, I sound like a 90-year-old lady. No offense to any 90-year-old ladies out there. I love 90-year-old ladies, but we're going to try to get through it as best as we can, guys. As we see a... I didn't actually see what the lead was. I think it was a... was it a Charizard lead? I wasn't really paying attention, but I think it was a Shadow Dragonite. Yeah, Shadow Dragonite was the lead, and the opponent met his... No, the opponent safe switched into a Tapu Fini, and he met the Tapu Fini with his Greedent after chipping with a Moonblast, which is a very nice play, because if he doesn't chip first, he might not be able to guarantee alignment, and with alignment, yeah, the Dragonite took too much damage from that Greedent. Dragonite is basically going to be useless here in the end game. It's not going to make a move, and they have a Swampert in the back, and up 2 shields. I mean, it's 2-2 shields, now it's 2-1 shields, but there's just not going to be a lot this opponent can do here. Their Dragonite is far too low, and he still has a full health Greninja in the back. And I think you could even just shield the Clefable, probably even double shield the Clefable, because the Swampert isn't going to make him enough Hydros here to KO this Clefable before they land a Moonblast. So yeah, once you land the Moonblast, you can probably just pivot into the Greninja. Greninja is going to be able to survive 1 Earthquake from a normal Swampert, and then you just make double Night Slash the Swampert, Night Slash the Dragonite. But no, actually pivots into the Greedent here, just to force the Swampert to throw, and they actually switch out into the Dragonite, and the poor Dragonite is just a meat shield in this battle. And yeah, they're still going to have to throw energy on the Greedent, and now Greninja can just come in, tank that Earthquake, and then make the Night Slash or the Hydro Cannon, and that is going to be a GG in game 2. So very nicely done to Dr. Love there. Obviously, he had an incredible lead, but maintaining alignment there was crucial in winning that battle. As we lead into game number 3, a Shiny Sceptile as well. Very, very cool pick. And Shiny Sceptile did actually get access to Breaking Swipe as well. So this thing does have a little bit more play now in the Open Ultra League. And he actually gets the shield there with the Meteor Mash and then brings in the Greedent. So Greedent doesn't have the best time here. Obviously, they are going to be resisting the Mud Shots, but Greedent is just so spammy and so incredibly bulky. They can probably even take 2 more Leaf Blades, I would imagine. The 3rd one will probably just about KO, but I think he's still, maybe not. Maybe he does need to shield this, but yeah. Can throw 1 more Mud Shot and then the Body Slam, and for some reason, the opponent actually looks like that maybe Dr. Love got the one-turn lag there, and they're somehow actually able to get to their move first. Not really sure how that happened. He should have been able to get his body slam off there, but they actually pivot into a Drapion, and this is perfect because he doesn't want to see that Sceptile against his Greninja, so he's going to bring in the Greninja here. And we'll still need 2 moves to KO, but it actually looks like the opponent is on Crunch and Aqua Tail because they are crunching a Dark type, and yeah, they're definitely on Crunch and Aqua Tail, and now can even Overfarm if he wants to. Going to take this thing out with the Night Slash, and if they bring back in the Sceptile, I believe he will make a Night Slash unless they throw, and sure enough, they do actually, they are actually going to attempt to take this Night Slash here. No, they just let their Sceptile go down, and they have a Jellicent in the back, so very interesting play by the opponent. With that Jellicent in the back, you would have thought that they probably would have wanted to shield their Sceptile and then farm down the Greninja, but instead, they shield the Night Slash on their Jellicent, and they're actually going to be forced to take a Crunch from the Greedent as well. They have to throw energy on the Greedent, and now Clefable can just come in and make the Moonblast, and I believe Moonblast probably will just barely not KO, but a couple more Fairy Winds after that will, and actually throws on alignment there, lets an entire Hex through for free, and that actually ends up being very crucial because that does not KO. The Moonblast doesn't KO. They're not quite in farm down range, and Clefable lives the Surf on 1 HP. Oh my gosh, I was going to say, actually might have thrown the game there, but Clefable again clutches it out on literally 1 HP and takes the win in style. Very nicely done there. That was very close game. And we pick up a Ultra League Alolan Raichu here in the next battle. Very cool pick from the opponent. And Alolan Raichu is very, very glassy as you see, but it does hit very hard. And it does have access to Wild Charge. So I believe the opponent banked 2 Wild Charges there, and then they catch the Body Slam onto the Trevenant, which, nice catch by the opponent, but honestly, this is not that good for the opponent because basically their poor Trevenant is going to be sacrificed to the Squirrel because 2 Crunches is going to KO, and Seed Bombs are not going to be doing a lot of damage at all. And yeah, it looks like they're probably just going to be sacking their Trevenant here, or do they shield actually? Yeah, they just fully sacrifice their Trevenant. So interesting play by the opponent. And they do actually bring in a Tapu Fini now, a shiny Tapu Fini. And this is actually looking okay because Greedent is just going to do what Greedent does. And that is just 1, 2, 3, 4 Body Slam over and over and over again. So the opponent actually pivots out there. They Wild Charge the Greedent, and now he's going to farm down with Fairy Wind since their defense is debuffed. They do actually go for the Wild Charge. He calls the bait, but now, yeah, Tapu Fini, despite this being a very positive type advantage for Tapu Fini, they're on Water Gun, and yeah, they just were not going to make enough Moonblast against a 2-shield Greninja. So I think there, they just full send the Moonblast, recognizing that was probably their win con, and when he shields it, they just top left. So really, really difficult lead here in the next battle. A Shadow Charizard, but the Shadow Charizard is actually staying into the Greedent here, and he does land a Body Slam, which is very nice. Does correctly shield the Blast Burn, and now they bring in their own Tapu Fini, and unfortunately, Greedent is down a little bit of health. I'm not sure that Greedent's going to be able to flip this matchup because 1 Moonblast probably will just about KO plus a couple more Water Guns. But maybe if he correctly shields the Moonblast, he can make a play for switch, but the opponent still has 2 shields, so yeah, just going to let it go, and actually going to save the energy on the Greedent and pivot back into the Clefable, and since the switch clocks are misaligned here, he should be able to take out this Tapu Fini, and he does take it out, but now Shadow Charizard still has 2 shields, and it would be really nice if he could get some chip damage onto it and potentially get a shield back, but no, they do make the Blast Burn, and it does KO. Clefable does not get the 1 HP clutch there. And now, yeah, Greninja just has so much work to do here, folks. Unless the opponent is extremely weak to Greninja in the back, they do shield, so maybe there is going to be a chance here, but he is going to have to respect a Blast Burn. That would do so much damage, and there's a Cresselia in the back. And unfortunately, since the opponent got that last shield, I believe his Greninja is just about in Night Slash range, and I'm not really seeing a win count at this point, unless maybe the opponent for some reason goes for like a Grass Knot and he lives it, but yeah, they're massively over farming, recognizing they need a lot of energy, and they don't shield that Crunch either, and that I think just cemented his fate there. They are going to go for the safe play there, Moonblast the Greedent, and this is a CMP tied to the second Moonblast. But he will get the last shield here, but yeah, the Moonblast, I don't quite think Moonblast KOs from full health, but it does massive damage, and yeah, takes out the Greninja. Very well played there, not a whole lot he could have done there. Really tough team comp. The opponent played that very well as well, and picks up another Shadow Charizard lead here in the next battle. So not picking up some very nice leads here in the mid game, and does again pivot into the Greedent, and they stay in again. They tank the Body Slam, and is he going to respect another Blast Burn here like the last battle? But no, the opponent baits, and he calls the bait. absolutely savage bait call there, and that puts him in a much better position, and the Charizard is continuing to stay in as well. They shield the second Body Slam, and now he correctly shields the next Blast Burn. So this is actually looking a lot better than the last battle already. The Switch Clock is even more misaligned as well, and that allows him to pivot back into the Clefable here. And he did make a Body Slam on the Greedent as well. And I believe Moonblast should just about KO this Tapu Fini here. We'll have to see. Maybe just barely not. But the opponent is going to be forced to throw again. Otherwise, he will Fairy Wind them down. And yeah, they're forced to throw again. And he probably, at this point, just lets it go. Yeah, no reason to shield the Clefable, knowing there's still a Shadow Charizard lurking, and gets a massive farm down with the Greedent. That is very nice. And the opponent has a Cresselia in the back. So it's the same exact team, actually. But he's in a much better situation here. Still has a shield, and still has a full health Greninja, and the Cresselia is now below half health as well. And yeah, the Charizard sees the Greninja and they top left. So the opponent definitely played that a little bit worse by baiting, and Dr. Love calling the bait. But yeah, either way, takes the hard counter lead. And into the next battle, we have a Clefable Mirror. So he instantly pivots into the Greedent, doesn't want to mess around with potentially having to take a Meteor Match, and the opponent is staying in as well. So they might be weak to this in the back, which could mean that they're weak to the Greninja in the back if they're weak to the Greedent here. And they're continuing to stay in here, and Greedent is now going to just do what Greedent does best, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4 Body Slam over and over and over again, and actually going to respect these moves as well, potentially making a play for a switch advantage here, which I'm not really sure matters that much, because you don't really want your Greninja down shields to see that Clefable, but maybe he can actually get both shields from the opponent as well. But yeah, the opponent is just staying in, so I guess switch advantage will potentially matter, because it appears the opponent is just willing to let their Clefable fully go down, which is totally fine. And the opponent brings in a Shadow Claw Giratina to the Greedent here, and that tells us why they did not switch out. They are clearly very weak to a normal type in the back, and this is not even Dragon Claw range. Greedent is just so thick, such a goofy looking little squirrel, just sitting here tanking these moves for days. Gets the Giratina super low. There's a Shadow Zard in the back, and this is going to be a good game, I believe. Shadow Blast Burn, I'm actually not 100% sure if that KOs, so the opponent probably has to go for Double Claw here. I believe they are just now at Double Claw, so Dr. Love should be clicking on his move right away to win CMP. Beautifully done there. If he tries to go for the Hydro, he simply just gets outpaced, doesn't get that damage off. And actually, this is not going to be as comfortable as I thought it was, because this Zard is not in range to where he is going to be able to Fairy Wind down. So he might actually have to make a catch here. And he does beautifully make the catch. Is this the Blast Burn? Yes, it is. Very well done. And now Meteor Mash is going to take out the Zard. And I believe the Giratina Altered is very low in the back, and that should be a good game. So wow, actually a really, really close battle in the end. I thought he had that pretty comfortably in the bag, but ends up having to make the game-winning catch to take the win. Very nicely done, as we pick up a Virizion lead here in the next battle. And Virizion is actually staying in here and going for Leaf Blade. So this tells us they're probably weak in the back. So likely what we're going to be seeing is the opponent's probably just going to sack their lead here, and they do fully sack it here. They're going to get 2 Leaf Blades off, but now what I'd like to see from Dr. Love is a pivot out of here to the Greedent, and that's exactly what he does. Recognizing if they stayed into a pretty rough lead, they're probably going to be weakened back somewhere, so he saves the Clefable for the end game, and the opponent has a Tapu Fini. And once again, the opponent is actually staying in to a Greedent safe switch, which tells us they probably do have something weakened back to the Greedent as well. So it's probably going to be, my guess is it's probably going to be a Giratina Altered, seeing that they didn't want to see the Clefable either on the lead. And sure enough, it is the Giratina Altered. They actually catch the Body Slam again onto the Giratina. Savage. Now, we've seen 2 Body Slams caught onto Ghost types, but again, Shadow Claw Giratina. Yes, they made the catch, but they've now locked themselves into that Greedent. So it's just really not a comfortable matchup for the opponent whatsoever. And basically what I've noticed now is that if the opponent has a Giratina Altered, his entire team does very well against Giratina Altered. It really has nowhere to hide against this team, and yeah, the opponent still has 2 shields, but 2 shields are not going to save them. Their health is just getting far too low, and yeah, Dr. Love, I think the opponent just recognizes that there, and they surrender to Dr. Love. So very nicely played there. I believe we have like 3 more battles, folks, as we pick up another Tapu Fini lead here. And Tapu Fini is a very neutral lead, so likely we're going to be seeing a safe switch out of here at some point. So yes, does land the Moonblast, and now is going to safe switch into the Greedent here. And again, Greedent just takes these moves so comfortably, guys. It's just so bulky. And the opponent is eventually going to meet the Greedent with a Shadow Gliscor. And he actually is going double crunch here. Did get the defense drop on the first one, and gets the defense drop on the second one as well. And now a Body Slam will definitely KO. and the opponent goes for a Night Slash here, and now they're going to be forced to go for another Night Slash here. And I think now you could probably even just bring in the Greninja to fully farm down. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And they do make a move, but at worst, this is just going to be an aerial, so he does let it go. Just a Night Slash, farms all the way down, and they actually bring back in the Tapu Fini. But this is a totally different matchup now, with the Tapu Fini being down so much on health and the Greninja having an energy lead. It's going to be very difficult for them to survive, so they just fully sacrifice their Tapu Fini. They have a Shadow Charizard in the back, and Shadow Charizard probably can farm down and double shield if they want to, but likely what Dr. Love is going to be needing to do here is get their last shield with this Night Slash or Hydro Cannon, and then actually pivot out of here into the Clefable, because I don't think he was going to live long enough to make another move. And sure enough, that's exactly what he does. Can shield up now. Even if it's a bait, I don't think they're making another one, and can just go for the Moonblast to play it safe. Moonblast is resisted, but it definitely will be KOing here. Excuse me, and that's going to be a GG. So, again, sorry about the my hoarse voice, guys. And this happens every time I try to wake right up and start recording, but we're going to get through it. We're almost done. I believe we have 2 battles left. And by the way, also, I don't know if you guys have noticed, my camera does this weird, like, flashing thing. Like, sometimes if I change angles, it does this weird flashing thing. But I have actually asked for a new camera for Christmas for my in-laws. And I'm actually going to my in-laws' house. I'm leaving tomorrow, actually. I'm driving there tomorrow. They live out of state, so we're actually doing our Christmas early. So I actually might even have my new camera here very, very soon. So we'll have to see, but I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, don't even remember what the lead was. I think it was an Alolan Sandslash lead, and the opponent actually brings back in the Alolan Sandslash. I think that Dr. Love pivoted into the Greedent, and then maybe the opponent answered the Greedent with a Giratina Altered, which is definitely not an answer to Greedent. And now you're actually going to see that Clefable can do pretty well against this A-Slash, despite the fact that it's a Steel type. The Meteor Mashes are going to be hitting for neutral due to that Ice subtyping, and Clefable can just straight up shield up here, outpace the Sandslash, probably even overfarm a little bit, and take it out. And likely with a lot of these team comps, typically when Alolan Sandslash is on the lead, the opponent's going to be pretty weak to Fairy in the back, as we've seen with the Giratina. And yeah, it's just a neutral matchup in the back against the Cresselia. But honestly, this is looking pretty rough for the opponent, because they're going to be forced to throw a Moonblast to take out this Clefable. And I'm actually not even sure Moonblast would KO. They actually go for a Grass Knot, and after dumping their energy, he's now going to bring in the Greninja. I think from full health, Greninja actually would live a Moonblast. They go for the Grass Knot anyway, maybe recognizing they would need 2 moves, but I'm actually not sure how much a Moonblast does from full health. Maybe like 90%, I'm not really sure, I'm just making that up. Somebody let me know in the comments if you want, how much does a Moonblast from a Cresselia do against a Greninja? And this is actually going to be a little bit tricky. It does take out the Giratina, but if this Cresselia can farm down, I think it's going to be a GG, but no, Clefable on literally 1 HP, again, lives the move, and that is going to be a GG. And here's our ELO reveal. I guess that was the last battle, guys. I thought there was 2 left for some reason, but here is the ELO reveal. 28-25, and I believe the earlier battles of the video were in the 27-50 ELO range. So again, big thank you to Dr. Love for sending in the footage. As you can see, he's already a legend. He's just playing around with some fun teams right now, but really, really fun to do these types of videos, guys. So in the future, if you want to send in a battle for the Guess the ELO series, actually, it's even more fun if you crop out the ELO yourself. That way, I'm also going to be surprised, because in this video, I already knew what ELO range he was at, but still fun nonetheless. And that being said, that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, because the more subscribers we can get, the more Pokemon my wife will let me play.